guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I am joined by Baker. Evening, mate. How's it going?
I didn't expect to be back so soon.
Mate, that's an absolute lie. You said see you Sunday on just before we finished the last pod.
I did, but I thought that was it. I thought we were there. I thought we cracked it. I was like, it was really fun Friday night. I feel like we cracked it. We're there. We've nailed it.
We have a nice long discussion. Here's some content that can keep people busy for a few days. And then, nope, next day, straight in, like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. By the way, here's a change.
Good. Like, it's good because we're all excited. It's all like fever pitches.
Mate, over 100 people were waiting for this, waiting for us to have a chat. How stupid is that? I mean, that's not stupid. It's great, right? But it means that people want it, and people.
Yeah, we love you all.
We want to talk about it. We actually just want to be talking about the game. And here we are. We've now had, I mean, I think yesterday, was probably one of the more controversial days. Changes that have really impacted things, changed the gameplay as well as some of the scoring. Because that's some of the things, right? You get the scoring changes and you go, we'll work out how it all works. But then the gameplay changes is like, well, how does that affect me? How does that affect my plan and what I want to do? So, yeah, there's a lot happened yesterday. We'll go through it all. We'll break it all down as much as we can. And yeah, how
are you feeling about it?
I was going to ask you the same thing. Generally, I think it's okay. I think so. So let's just very quickly. I'll just fire through. Obviously, assists. Fine. Increase the number of assists. Great. The BPS changes. Good. I think there's a couple of good things, a couple of nuances in there that probably need a little bit more detail to look at. But a couple of things that maybe people think have a huge impact, maybe not have such a big impact. So we'll see on that. In terms of the elite leagues, I saw them come out. I was like, whatever. I'm never going to be in the top 1%, so whatever. I felt kind of left out of that one. And then obviously the big one was obviously the changes that they labelled as, transfers for AFCON, which isn't really transfers for AFCON. It's kind of just like, here's 5 free transfers in game week 16. Go and enjoy yourself.
Up to 5. Well,
it's up to 5.
If you already been rolling up, if you had 4 still at 15, then you got.
Yeah, but you still have 5. So it's saying wherever you are, here's 5. You will have 5 free transfers in game week 16. This is kind of like your like a mini wild card point. Like, we're just going to give you half a wild card, bang. You just do what you want with it. And so, that's not my favourite one. I don't think it's not my favourite one, but
I think it's pretty safe to say the world, it's not their favourite one. But I thought that was it. And then suddenly we had some bonus changes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was in, so yesterday, that's exactly the same. I thought it was it. And I was like to the wife, I'll go out and grab some stuff from the shop. So I go out, I'm sitting in my car, it's hammering it down. And then I just see the word bonus BPS just come on the top of my screen. I'm straight into like chat. Mark, what is this? Baker, where are you? And you're like on the golf course.
Yeah. I was at golf. I was on the way back, and I could see chat was going on and stuff like that. And I was like, I genuinely was like, I'm gonna have to pull over. I'm gonna literally have to pull over to look at what's going on here. But then I was like, wow, I got home a bit earlier than I expected I would be. So therefore, I sort of feel like I've taken it in. I'm in that space. And then today we just had the price reveals for 4. Is that it? Is that all that's happened today? So much has happened. Is that
and
all
position changes.
Oh, and 11 position changes.
Yeah, just 11 position changes. One which you absolutely nailed.
I know. I was thinking about that. It's probably just that I was traumatized. I thought about that. It's just basically seeing him get those 5-point goals just hit me every week and kill my rank. But maybe there'll be more than that this year because maybe he'll get more bonus.
Maybe he will. I mean, that's what you said, right? So if anyone doesn't know, you can go and check the short. It's on YouTube, it's on Insta, it's on TikTok. You can check it out, see why Baker thought that Bowen was going to be reclassified as a striker. I mean, TLDR is that he played like 16 out of 34 games or 14 out of 32 games as the striker, as the number 9 for West Ham. So,
which is different, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? Different to saying like a Saka or a Salah and stuff, right?
Yes, they play 1 or 2 games a season as a false 9 or whatever. Like if that. if that. But he actually played as a striker.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got all that stuff. What was God? There was a lot here and starts talking about how someone's doing their job. Or
We've just dropped a sec, but I think we should be okay. I'm just double checking because it's not. No, we should be back up and running. So if you refresh the stream, it should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we should be back up. We should be back up.
Yeah.
It's all good. We just dropped for a second. Everything's fine. You were saying, yeah, a lot of the stuff.
Wonderful. So a lot of stuff yesterday, everyone shouting, everyone angry and all that stuff. Look, but what I was saying was a lot of it was really pointed or atted Mark in and saying, hey, Mark, why are you doing this? Or hey, how are you doing that? Like, it's his job, like, and nobody knows about the conversations having his job. None of us are watching how those conversations are playing out, what's happening, all those type of things. And not only are you atting him in, but you're atting him and his employer in. So his employer tomorrow morning is going to be, Mark, you said these changes will go down well. And everyone's like, Mark.
I also,
Mark, do you know what I mean? Like,
but I also think people massively overestimate the influence on a very specific decision that Mark has. Right, Mark's part of a Mark's. I mean, Mark hasn't told us this, so but Mark's probably part of like this consulting team, right? And the Premier League has come to them and say, guys, look, you guys are running the game. These are what we need to do. These are the issues that we're seeing from our side. You have the bits on the gameplay side. How do we merge the two, and how do we make sure that we can, fix the game to make your bit better, but fix the game to make our bit better as well, right? JC said it beautifully. He said the Premier League is the Fantasy Premier League game is a marketing tool for the Premier League. That's exactly what it is. So I think the language is very specific about. I mean, those 5 transfers navigating around AFCON. I think they've made a real point of AFCON because the guy who scored the most points in the league in the game last year is disappearing for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, if Mo Salah wasn't going, this would not have happened. But it's like everyone's going to panic. I had a golf day yesterday, and there were only two guys that were young, like under 25, that were playing. Both of them, they know I do this podcast, and said, "Oh, it must be starting up soon." Yeah. Both of them quit before Christmas. Yeah, because they forgot about stuff or didn't, suddenly it suddenly got a bit worse for them. Like keeping as many people in the game as possible is what they want. So they do that. Our job as the psycho nerds that we are is to look at how do we make that game within the game that therefore means that we maximize what they're doing, which is trying to please the masses. And that's always been part of this game, and it's becoming more and more of it. It's not one of those games where it's like, I think I saw 11 of I tweeted about like, one of the skill parts of this game is how do you deal, in a sort of adverse times and stuff. And that's one of the bits you take the most satisfaction from. I get it, but it's not our game. Like we're a bubble within the game. We are an absolute tiny subset within it of mad people that are queuing up to talk about this on a Sunday night before we've even got the players.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even just this game, right? Games we've played in the past.
Yeah.
Most of the things that they change cater to the masses, and as you say, it's as engaged managers, however you see yourself, whether you consume content, whether you're working in solvers, whatever you're doing, it's kind of our job to work out how to. No, how can I put it? We will try and essentially break the game by basically using the information, the parameters that we've been set to fully just take advantage. Like that's where we come in. Like not me maybe, but general we, the royal we. That is where we come in, and we will take advantage of things that someone in the Premier League and that group and whatever have come to this conclusion, and they think this is a good way to keep this bit happy. But we'll just take advantage of that anyway. It might just keep them playing though. Exactly.
And a day on, I'm already starting to see stuff where people have talked about maybe they can use this to maybe build we've got these new chips, so maybe I can use my bench boost around that. Maybe I can, like I've got 5 transfers, but I don't want to use them. I want to use them at this period of time, this week, a few weeks later, because actually there's a big change here and I can do that. Like there's all sorts of things in which we will start to learn nuances of the game as we react and work through over the next few weeks. We'll work it out.
And others, and as I say, those that, not to tarnish them, but those that you would consider casual will pick up the game on August the 12th and go, what should my team be? Oh, look, Salah's 14.55 million. I can have him. I'll get him. Oh, look, Wirtz is 8.5 million. I'll get him as well. And then they'll just build it from there. And then they'll click a few buttons, play all their chips, get 5 transfers in game week 16, start again, get a new wildcard in 19, and they'll just keep going.
Probably already had 5 transfers in game week 16 because
that's
they've forgotten about it.
Also true. But they could, but yeah, in theory, they can do that. They can put it down, forget it. Game week 15, make 5. Game week 16, make another 5, and they've just had a full wild card. That might even be a thing.
Or they'll be burning in 16 because they'll be like, I'm not really sure what's going on. Because the ridiculous part with that side of it is obviously they don't go, these players, till game week 17. So you've got to make your transfers. Like you're going to have 5 transfers in 16. You've got to make a transfer in 16. Yes. But all of your AFCON players will be playing in 16.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was going to make another point. What was it? Yeah, I think the final point on it really is that we don't have to like all the changes. Like it's not our job to like all the changes. And I think it's fair for us to critique changes that we don't think benefit the game. However, we also have to understand the other side of it and just accept that there is logic and reason behind things happening. Yeah. It's not a case of like, as we've said, one person screwing over the whole community, right? That is absolutely like.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and work out a way to piss everyone off.
Yeah, like, come on. I've got this massive legacy of 20 years of fantasy. I've built all this this huge. Yeah. He's not calling himself this, but he is the godfather of FPL. I'm just going to wash all that down in one go. Just going to do this. Yeah. Off we go. I don't care anymore. Like that. What a load of bollocks, honestly. Like no.
Anyway. Admin.
Yeah, we can do some admin.
We got any?
Yeah, so 270 people here. If you do want to see more from us throughout the preseason, then please do make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We are rocking our way up to 10,000 subs. We'd love to get there before the season starts. I'm pretty confident that will happen, given the last couple of weeks. But it would be fantastic to get there. And if you like the content that we do, later on in the video, maybe you've seen something you like, you enjoyed it, you've taken something from it, just drop that like button. It would really, really help us. And let us know in the comments what you think. Like, our opinion is just our opinion. You're welcome to have yours. And we are, we're constantly feeding back in on the YouTube comments as well. So please, please, please do that. Make sure you're rating us 5 stars on Spotify and all those Apple podcasts and all those wonderful platforms where you can get your audio from. That is all the good stuff. If you want to come and support us further, if you've got more love to give, then you can come and join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/AboveAverageFPL. Really started to pick up, as I mentioned on Friday. Loads of games going to be happening during the season. We're going to have Last Man Standing. We're going to have FPL Blackjack. We're going to have our own sort of mini leagues for monthly mini leagues and season-long mini leagues as well as other stuff I'm sure we'll come up with in the next few weeks. There's people playing different games. We've had people playing Club World Cup Fantasy. There's people playing So Rare. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people that want to get in on like things like Fan Team and Sun and all this sort of stuff. So, come and join us. And and we're doing, like, if you want to join for the year as well, that's up to you. I mean, but you get 3 months for free, basically. So, you can come and join and do that. Patreon.com/AboveAverageFPL.
And we often do get people that will like drop us a super chat and stuff like that on this. Is we don't ever expect super chats, but if you're thinking about it, we'd much rather you just join Patreon for a month, even if you just leave after a month, but you get to come and see the chat, because now is fun. If you join it now for a month, you'll make through the whole of preseason and you can get through all the chat and work through to that period of time. So we'd much rather you did that.
Yeah. Excellent. And then, of course, none of this is possible without our good friend, Crypto Block Dan. He's been with us since the very beginning. Dan is a Web3 and crypto blockchain agent investor. He's just a wonderful guy. He's an expert in the field. He advises, he collects NFTs, he creates games. He's actually doing beta testing or some kind of testing on a new game that he owns. And, I tweeted his game where they're doing testing. So there's a Discord for that as well. If you want to get involved in that, then go ahead. Dan's in our Discord. You can come and chat to him. But he gets a lot of DMs. He gets a lot of chat. So, he's a man with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. And if you do want some time to understand a bit more how, Web3 and blockchain can help you, then you can head over to hubble.social/Dan Hybel. And he has appointments where you can have one-to-one consultations. He can give you some advice. You can have a chat with him. All starts from $40. And, you can have longer consultations. Obviously, there'll be a bit more. But yeah, he's just a fantastic guy. He's, supported us, as I say, from day one. And, we owe a lot to him. So, go show some support for Dan. And if you need it, he's there, hubble.social/Dan Hybel. Did I do well there, mate? Is that good?
You did well. You did well. I can't stop giggling because we've known Dan for so long, but all this time I thought his surname was Hibble, not Hybel, until about 2 weeks ago.
If that was it, 2 weeks? Was it a week ago?
Maybe it was.
We have some changes. There they are.
Is more assists the easy one to start with?
Probably. I think it's
the easy one.
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's
more assists.
Let's get an easy one.
I think I've probably got this text the wrong way around. But the initial thing for me is they came out and they said, we've simplified the assists, and then provided over a 2-minute video as to how simple the assists now are.
Yeah, interestingly, because I was playing golf at the time, but similar. Our friend Danny does the, and if you subscribe to us, also subscribe to the FPL Last Resort.
Yeah,
that's a fabulous pod. But Danny said in chat, he said, "Watch the video; it'll make more sense." I was like, "Christ!" So we got to watch the video to be able to understand what's actually happening here.
But even the video, I think feels. I guess okay. Maybe it depends on your point of view, because I didn't think the assist rule was complicated before.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was logical, right? I felt, well, as logical as it can be. I mean, I'm kind of Opta or nothing. I'm quite happy with that sort of black and white line. But if you're going to create a grey line, create one where rebounded shots, and if the guy was crossing it or passing it into the area where the guy is and it was supposed to go to him, then it counts. If he wasn't, then it doesn't. That seems pretty simple to me. And there's always going to be there was always, arguments about, was it intended target? Was a deflection enough? And all this sort of stuff. Quite frankly, I thought that created more positive engagement for the game than anything anyway on a Saturday afternoon. But now it's simple. I mean, they can pass it with one defender's touch.
There is a part that the simple bit is they'll get more.
Yeah, true.
I went this morning. I went onto the FPL Twitter and I searched the word none. And I manually counted how many times they tweeted none last season for an assist.
But didn't they do that? Didn't they give this information out?
Maybe in the video. I can see it. But I just but I am a big for those that don't know me with this stuff. I'm a firm believer that where you could look at manual data, you'll be able to understand a story a lot more than where you take just the data, because you know what went into the data. Yeah, so there was like 130 odd times they tweeted none. But there's a huge number of those where when you see them, you start to go, I remember that goal. I remember that goal. I remember that goal. I remember that goal. Yeah. And people like João Pedro winning penalties. For example, you're like, well, that's always none because he won the penalty, then he took it. So those things will still happen. Ones where you're like, oh, do you remember that back pass? Yeah, I remember that back pass. We talk every week of every single game. You kind of remember the nuns, as it were. So you look at those and you're like, oh, okay. But it probably is. It probably means we'll get an extra two assists a week in the league. Something along the lines of that. Probably ends up with about 80 assists, so I'll be at about 2 a week.
Fine. Okay.
It's something. It's not something I think we probably have to think about. It removes, like I say, some conjecture in that everything that was an assist will still be an assist, and then here's some other stuff which will be.
I mean, I can't
It's
wait to see like the second smallest deflection and people arguing whether a defender touched it for the second time.
Oh, and that will happen.
And then whether a player actually received the ball inside the box or outside the box will
Yeah.
also happen. Whether the defensive mistake was a defensive error or not. Like,
Because
I just
the thing is
it's just as complicated, but there's more of them.
they're not going to Sky are not going to be. Oh, let me just do a VAR replay on that. Check whether he was inside or outside the box when
No,
he
it's just-
received the ball.
No, there's only ever going to be one angle of it if you see it, and that's it. It's going to
Yeah.
be, you're just going to have to take it at gospel.
Yeah. I think it will be fine. I think it will just mean that's the assist. Yes, thank you very much. And I think that's what they mean when they say simplified, is that you last saw that person touch the ball, then that person scored, that person gets the assist, that person scored.
I hope so.
I think
I
think that'll be the case. I don't think I think it will be very rare that we have that part where we all go to our little group chats and go, "Do you think that's an assist? It's not assist." I'm not sure about that one.
But why? But that's the fun stuff. Like, I enjoyed that stuff.
Mate,
That must have been part.
Tom and Sam have got a podcast called "Who Got the Assist," mate.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they've killed a conversation.
Yeah. We know who's got it, lads. Don't worry. We can't.
That guy. He
Poor
touched
guys.
the ball.
Poor guys. What was it? There was one thing I was going to say on this as well, and I can't. Again, we're coming to the end of conversations, and I forget the last point I was going to make.
There's been a lot on. Like we're out of practice. We've been off for a month, and then we come back. Suddenly, we've got 20 things to work through and digest and try and quantify in our heads why they've done and what they've done and what does it mean for us. I think I don't look at this immediately and think, oh, I'm now going to pick this guy because they didn't get that assist last season, but they would now.
That's the point. That's the point I was making. I don't think there's anything that can tell us who's more likely now to get an assist than before, because fantasy assists were always more difficult to sort of work out, especially from like an XA perspective. Like,
yeah,
because you were always combining, like, fantasy assists being penalties won. Like, you'd have to have a look at the penalties won stat. You need the shots on target stat or shots saved stat. You need all these things to kind of feed into what is a fantasy assist. And now you're not really going to get. I mean, crosses might just be one. Like, crosses might just be one for like more crosses, because crossing you're just in the general area, right? So it's almost certainly going to be an assist.
It's probably the only thing you can be, in it. Cross spammers. Like, you're like, oh, okay.
But then is something like it being. So let's say, just to put a straight example out now, the cross gets fired in, and full back in front of the person taking the cross, jumps, flicks off his head, and it diverts like 15 yards, like the wrong way, and then guy pumps it to the top corner, it'd be outside the box, wouldn't he?
Let's just say they're just inside the box.
Let's say they're just inside the box, the assist counts, even though they were crossing to the near post, but it lands at the guy that's standing 3 feet from him.
Yes.
Okay.
So like you say, in your mind, it's never going to be simplified because you understood in the first place. But come back to appeal to the masses, and actually it's just you touched it, you scored, you get that. Where I'm like, does it? I'm going to look at this and try and think of this narrative before we go through this. Are forwards any good? Is a question I'm asking myself, because if you can just muck about and get 3 points, then how much do I care about the 4 points? Now I need. If it's the 4 points that I care about, I need the guy to get bonus too. The guy to get bonus too. I'm a striker. Otherwise, I'm like, well, these assist guys are worth more.
But that's okay, because nothing's changed from a striker's perspective in terms of non-penalty goals. So if you're talking about goals that come in from crosses or passes that are deflected, whatever it is, right? Then they still get the same anyway. So it's still. Those games, you're still going to get those bonus points.
The people that assist the least, in terms of FPL assets, is a lot of times is strikers. Is because what happens is what we've seen if we go to the reclassification, some of the more creative strikers, guess what? They become midfielders again.
Yeah.
So this doesn't benefit strikers very much. We then go to we've had defensive contributions. That doesn't benefit strikers very much. Benefits it virtually everybody. We talked about we didn't even talk about how it doesn't affect strikers.
Well, they just don't get them because they're not busy enough, right? They don't do enough.
Yep. We then have position changes. Let's do position changes.
We can move to position. Sorry, I was just comfortable there. I'm not even looking at what I should be clicking. This is nice. Position changes. Shout out to Fantasy Football Scout who put a lovely, nice table together. It was wider. I made it shorter. Fits better.
But we thank you for your content.
Thank you.
So predominantly what we've got is forwards becoming mids and mids becoming defenders in this. And then you've got one that sticks out like a sore thumb, which is that Jarrod Bowen's gone from a midfielder to a forward.
Yeah.
So you're immediately looking at this and thinking, oh, more guys that are quite attacking defenders here. We don't know that Lewis Potter doesn't go back to being one of the front three now Bumo's gone.
Well,
maybe Stodgy, because you shouldn't forget that Lewis Potter went to fullback because they had no fullbacks because Hickey and Rico
Henry,
were out of season. Now change your manager. If he's 4.5 and he's playing left wing,
4.5 left forward for Brentford.
I'd be amazed if he's 5.
Well, he shouldn't be. Like the Brentford defence was poor, and fullbacks at Brentford have never been more than 4.5.
Yeah,
and I can't see the defence improving immediately.
He could be interesting, but you're like, this is another guy in defence that I'm thinking, oh, it might be on my radar. I look at Marmoush, I look at Cunha on here, I look at Eleman and Jai, and I think I really like all of those. I mean, Gakpo, if he ever gets a run, but we like him, but it's just whether he ever will. But immediately I'm thinking, oh, maybe I want 4-4-2, 3-5-2 suddenly looks a bit more interesting. Work it out.
Yeah. Just while we're here, we had a live shout out for Ash Norris, who's just joined the Patreon while we're live. So shout out to you, my friend. We'll catch you in the Discord after we've finished. We'll catch you in the Discord later.
Matheus Nunes is now a defender. Nick O'Reilly. Look, if they get runs, we want them. If they don't, we don't.
Yeah.
But it probably needs to be quite a sustained run. Then Lewis Skelly, if he now is a left back. Look, he's young, Lewis Skelly. We don't really know exactly where he's going to end up playing. We suspect left back looks like the place for him.
But then he did a lot of good stuff last year. I mean, and he was trusted, right? He was trusted in big games.
Yeah.
So there's no reason, I don't think Calafiori's been pulling up too many trees. I mean, he was injured for quite a while. In truth,
he's got the potential as a player that he could just usurp him.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
So this isn't. I don't think anyone looked at the Bowen move and went, "Oh, yes, I'm definitely going to have Bowen in my game." I think loads of people thought they were having Bowen in their team, and suddenly were like, "Now he's a forward." Oh, I'm not so sure.
I think that's. I mean, depends on how. I mean, look, his pricing is going to be completely different to how he was priced last year because he comparably, obviously, or they'll assess what his points would have been if he was a forward last year. They'll have to understand where he sits amongst all the forwards. Does he sit amongst? Because I don't think he sits amongst the Watkins and that. He sits more, for me, amongst the Hoylands, right, of the world. I think he might be close. What was he, 7.5?
Pete, mate. We need to go speak to Pete to see whether is any. They've made so much change. I'm not sure if they can if he can recalculate it. Even the genius that he is, but we should go speak to Pete. Promoting that FPL.team. If you don't use it for your planners, you should. If you can recalculate it, because you've got to try and work out these positional changes plus all the bonus changes, and the bonus changes are quite nuanced to try and get the right information. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how easy that would be.
Yeah.
But if you can and help us know whether Bowen's better or worse.
I mean, yeah, M. Dot has said that Marmoush being as a midfielder is good. I mean, again, there's questions about Marmoush because
it's the minutes. If
minute
we know
Foden's
the minutes,
right there, right, as well. Now, again, we say it every season, Foden's like there.
And the system. It looks like suddenly you're playing wingers and you're not, are you? Look, if Marmoush is playing every game, yes, he'll be on all our teams. Whether he'll be in our game week 1 teams, I still think he'll be a little wait and see for a lot of people, but let's see what the price is. But he'll definitely, I think most of us will own him at some point this season. I'd be very surprised if we don't.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
So that's our position changes.
Yes, sir.
Where go now?
Wherever you'd like, mate. I'm quite happy. We can go to.
As you'd imagine, I've got a lot of thoughts on the bonus. I've got a lot.
Well, let's just do. We've just talked about what prices could potentially be. Let's just talk about a little bit about prices then, because they came out today. Did you join the WhatsApp channel?
I joined the WhatsApp channel.
Yeah. So weirdly, who is it? I think Fantasy Football
I didn't
Scout.
Notice anything.
So Fantasy Football Scout. Yeah, true. Fantasy Football Scout. I think they put something out yesterday or the day before saying they're about WhatsApp channel. I think 2 days ago I searched for Fantasy Premier League and I joined it when there were like 14 followers. So I joined it like 2 days ago. Proper OG. 14 followers. And I was like, there's nothing here. What are they doing? And I didn't even think. See, I should have gone full FPL focal. I should have known that I should have been like, look, by the way, 14 followers. I think FPL are going to start doing WhatsApp stuff. And there they go. But yeah, prices. So I think all of these prices feel reasonable. I thought Isak, weirdly, I didn't realize that Isak got all the way up to 9.8 million last year at the end. So when I said, I reckon he'll be 9.5, I was obviously miles off. I'd have probably said 10 and a half feels okay. Over 200 points last year, but he's on pens. So could that impact him? Possibly. We'll talk about bonus a little bit later. Will Newcastle being in the Champions League this season impact him? Possibly. So I think that's a touch on the high side for me, but I think the others were all fine. I even think Wirtz at 8.5 is fine because I think there's enough. There's so much output from Salah that I don't think I think 8.5 is fine. I think it's above Szoboszlai, it's above McAllister, it's above that, like what we've seen from Liverpool sort of number 10s before. So I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah. I think on Isak was too easy a decision to have in your team. Like when a guy goes from, I think 8.5, I think he started, to like 9.8, like that tells you he was massively underpriced and it was just so easy to just have him and you wanted him and those bits of it. Let's make him slightly difficult to get to. Let's make people have to sacrifice something to get him, because like he is still going to be the second most wanted striker in the league. If we didn't have prices, if you were doing a draft and you had the draft order picks, Haaland, Isak would be your 2 strikers that you would pick first 2 off the board.
Yeah.
So therefore, don't create a gap where it's like, don't like 5-6 million between gaps of these bits of it. Try and keep that relatively close. Because if the other thing as well, if someone like Haaland gets injured, then everyone just has Isak again.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's true.
Yeah. So and you're like, well, at least if it swallows a vast amount of the money, then it keeps us a little differential. I think it's the right thing to do at 10.5. Pickford, I think if Pickford was 5.0, he would be in so many teams, it would just be boring. So I think 5.5 again stops it being boring. I think you've got to be ballsy now to pay £5.5 million for an Everton keeper.
Yeah, I think that's all. I agree. I think that's right.
But is it like back to back? He's been top point scorer.
Yeah,
and it's a ballsy decision to go to him. at
Yeah.
5.5, but he should be 5.5, shouldn't he? So fair. Um, Ain't Nuri is league proven. He did have what 11
11,
returns, I think,
four goals, 7 assists last year.
last season. He's now playing, and if he's nailed, 6 million
I
feels
mean, feels
great.
cheap. Feels cheap. Like it feels cheap if he's nailed. I guess there's going to be minutes conversations there because you've got Vardio, you've got O'Reilly there now, who was there before. I know they brought in Ain't Nori to to increase the depth and quality of the squad. 4 goals, 7 assists in Wolves last year. Like is that not better than Vardio was doing at City anyway? Right?
He just loves it. He can't stay out of it. He can't stay out of the box. He can't. That's going to be one of the really things that's interesting to see, isn't it? Is that how does he get more disciplined under Pep? And if he doesn't, then he just won't play probably.
Yeah, but sometimes it might be a case that he doesn't need to because he might just give him license, right? He might just give him license just to go.
Yeah, early signs are he wants wingers, so therefore, like, Ain't Nuri ducking inside, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Either way, like yeah, 6.0. It's interesting. 8.5 Wirtz is bloody interesting. If you just said, right, best team in the league, best attack in the league, have spent over 100 million on a guy and might play number 9. If not, we'll play 10. If not, we'll play left wing. But is an upgrade on existing that they've got a potential superstar. And what price you think you're going to put him? 8.5 million. Thanks, in my team. If you're a Liverpool fan, he's in your team, isn't he? If I'm a Liverpool fan, like, and sometimes you just can't help yourself. If I'm a Liverpool fan, he's in my team. I just wouldn't be able to resist that. That would be like too easy. I'm not gonna have to miss a load of other players to get him in my team. 8.5 is absolutely fine. Get him in your team. So that's the right price because it makes it. But it's hard to think that he'll be a trap. But what if he does, a 10-10 season?
I was going to say,
Is 8.5? Is 8.5 okay for a 10-10 season?
Seems okay.
It seems okay.
It seems about okay.
But we've had lots of people priced less than that have 10-10 seasons. Obviously Palmer, remember, and stuff. But Rodgers, I don't know if Rodgers got 10-10 in the end, but it was half decent. Gordon, I remember getting a 10-10 season. So what I mean by 10-10 is 10 goals, 10 assists, if anyone's wondering what I mean by that.
Yeah, I was with you on that.
But yeah, it just feels like it's hard that he doesn't get at least 10 assists. And it feels like it's hard that he doesn't get at least 6 or 7 goals. And then you're like, but what could he get? Would you be surprised if he ended up with 25 goals and assists? Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, look, it'll be wait and see. I think it's a good price. I think it's a fair price. I think for me, it's a fair price. I think because it's one of those, right? I think it's going to be one that either that everyone just goes, that's a touch expensive, or wow, that was way too cheap. Like I think he's going to have either a breakout quality season, or I don't think he's going to flop, but.
No.
We have scars and we have memories of things like this happening before, and I don't want to directly compare him to Kai Havertz, but like Kai Havertz came across as like one of the top young German
very good point.
number 10s, and he came in and didn't. I mean, Chelsea were up there. Chelsea were up there at that time. They were.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the best first season. Do I think Wirtz is a better player than Havertz? Actually, yes, of course. I actually do think that Wirtz is a better player than Havertz, but I always get nervous about these kinds of players. So I don't know. We'll see.
If he was 9, I think there's 0 chance he'd have been in my team. I think 8.5 brings him interest in, so therefore it's probably right. But I think I suspect we'll see Foden and Bruno also 8.5. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Bruno maybe 9, but around 8.5, and I would be like, ooh,
yeah.
But let's see let's see what the noises are. I think the good thing slot. I think he's pretty open. I think is um, I'd be amazed if he's not starting every week. And if he is starting every week for Liverpool and he's 8.5 million, we'll snap out of. We've all chanced 7.5 and £8 million on Liverpool attackers that we knew were not nailed. We've all chanced it. I do it way too often. If there's an 8.5 million that's not going to come off after 60 minutes every game, I can see myself getting him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I've got a little bit of I've got a little bit of a cushion because I can play him in. I've got a so rare card for Florian Wirtz, so I can play him in so rare if I need to.
Nice.
So, yeah, so he'll be good.
Nice. But it can get used. It can get used lower minutes, can't it? Obviously, in the Euros, I had him throughout the Euros tournament, and his minutes were sketchy in that Euros tournament. He was great when he played, but his minutes were sketchy. He was coming off quite early. He didn't start, I think, one of the games and so forth. So it's like maybe they do ease him in.
Yeah, I mean there are some comments. Some are saying Havertz had better stats. Some are saying Timo Werner season. Havertz had Lampard catching him.
Can't compare him to him. You know what I mean? It's always going to be either.
There's always going to be there. Yeah, there's always going to be there. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Don't forget, we might have to have him at Fest. That is true, Maggot. Maybe.
That's also going to.
Can you imagine that?
There's only a few hundred of us going out of bloody 10, 11 million people playing this game, but we still think about it.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so we're good with prices. We spoke on all of them. Yeah. So I mean, I spoke mainly on the two on the right, on the two on the left. As I say, I agree. You want what, the rest of them? You want all the prices?
Just want everyone. Just want it.
Just give them out. I'd love them to do it like a Vidi printer style, so they just release them 1 minute at a time. Can you imagine
just keep scrolling through?
It would just be constant chaos.
Yeah, and in no good order in terms of price or position. Just keep spewing names out and where they are.
Oh, it would be chaos. Can you imagine that? So if you had 8 hours of it, you can do 1 a minute for 8 hours. So that's 480 players.
On the minute as well, and you knew it was coming on the minute, so it was really just paralyzing you into this. I've got to see the next one.
You'd have to take the day off work. You'd literally have to take the day off work because you wouldn't be able to do. I'll just sit down for a minute. Oh shit! I've missed like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And you got Focal going mental. Oh, Mark, if you listen to that, that is something that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Just doing it. You can even just do like if you wanted to like test it, just do like an hour, like the next hour. Here's all the next ones.
Just get everyone to put the old announcements on the tweets, mate, and just do one every minute. Just keep dropping a player in every minute.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Just keep going.
Right, where are we going?
Bonus. You know, I'm desperate. So we don't know. We don't know if we can do our normal. For those that are regulars, we don't know if we can do a full bonus pot on this one. Because this is actually quite complicated based on some of the models and stuff that people. I say models, but some of the stats resources that you will use, i.e., whether you're a scout user or a hub user. There's some intricacies here. Because
I mean, let's start with the keeper's saves then, because I don't think there's a stat out there that differentiates a keeper's saves between inside and outside the box, or is there?
Yes, there is.
You found it.
There is.
You bastard. Of course you
haven't
You're a
got.
sicko.
We haven't got a visual for it. Of course, I'm a fucking sicko for it. And there's some bits you can learn, I think, from this in terms of teams and how we work from it. So, most saves last season, Mark Flecken, 156 saves made, 104 of them in the box, 52 out the box.
Okay.
So, for those in the box, he was getting 2 points last season. He was getting 2 points. Those outside the box, he was getting 2 points last season. He'll continue to get 2 points out for those. Those inside the box, he'll now get 3 points rather than 2 on his baseline bonus, which contributes to him having the opportunity to get either the 3, 2, or 1 point. For those that enjoy the nerding, welcome to us. 2/3 of his shots were inside the box. That's good, isn't it? 2/3 of his shots, he gets 50% more bonus than he used to get for them. Fantastic. Extra
Right?
100, extra 100 on his baseline. So basically an extra 2.5 baseline every week. And he had a high baseline anyway. That's bloody good.
So we're looking at this for Kelleher, right? Because obviously Flecken's now playing in the Bundesliga.
Black and Snap. But you're thinking about stylistic teams. So Brentford, why would it be in the box? Well, we know it. They like to sit deep and they have a sort of low to medium block. So therefore they will invite pressure and they're willing to take that pressure all of the way. Yeah. That means a lot of times teams get into the box. That's good.
Yep.
Next, if I compare that to Pickford, 122 saves for Pickford, 79 in the box, 43 outside the box. So, similar, basically, double the shots he receives inside the box to what he receives outside the box, similar to Flecken, and relatively similar style to what they do. Matt Sells, 120 saves, 92 in the box, 28 outside the box. 3/4 of his shots are inside the box. That's really good. Really good. One of the changes to bonus points you haven't got in here is that they've tripled the points for goal line challenges. Have you seen that? Oh, goal line
For
clearances.
goal line clearances, yeah.
That's now 9. Guess who has the most? Because guess what?
It's
If you have
Murillo.
the most, if you have the most inside the box, then you also have the most goal line clearances.
Yeah.
So it's not a big talking point. There's only the most anyone had last season was 3. Aina had 3 and Murillo had 3. Mark is not helping himself with doing stuff that affects Forest players like Matt Sells, Aina, Murillo. Milenkovic had 2.
There are others that have been nerfed a little bit. We can talk about that in a minute.
Those teams that kind of sit back and have sort of a low medium block in terms of their pressure, attackers tend to get closer to goal before they do their shot. Yeah, that's what you need to be thinking about when you're picking your keeper. Leno is relatively similar. 113 shots, 83 in the box, 30 out. So those kind of guys where you've got the ratio where it's not there. Now,
what about Vic?
Vic is interesting in different ways in that, do you know Vic made bugger all saves last season? He only made 69 saves. Now, he only played 24 games, so that wouldn't obviously have helped. And I don't think I've got the backup. Because Forster played some and Kinski had some, so it wasn't high enough to work it out. But I get similar. We had 3/4 of our saves were inside the box. So that's the same for the majority of people. There's a few guys where it doesn't work out that way. West Ham's one where it's interesting. So out of 82 shots, 32 are outside the box. They put so little pressure on the attacker that attackers like to have pot shots. Yeah, and when we think about teams like West Ham in defence, the teams that remind me of those where they don't really harry the attacker, Man United, Aston Villa, Newcastle. Pope spent a long time, Pope, his whole career has tried to work in a defence where he gathers save points by just taking crappy shots. Letting people have crappy shots from 30 yards away. Those guys have quite a significant proportion of their shots. Areola, Onana last season, Pope, and who else was that? Emi Martinez, where a lot of their shots are from outside the box. So actually, I think it's crap for them. But your Pickfords, your Lenos, your Sells, those kind of good value guys. And obviously, the other thing is, this actually is a bump to those guys in terms of that do make saves. If you don't make any saves, getting one extra, who cares? You only got one save in the first place, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? When Raya only had 87 saves total, it's not really a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit around keepers where it does bode well for your kind of Sells, Leno, Henderson, maybe. Pickford, Kelleher.
Well, say Pickford. I mean, that might be why your Pickfords are even more expensive as well.
Could be why.
I mean, it could be why we're seeing Pickford go up in price. We may see a few others in the middling range get up to around 5 million instead of 4.5, and it might force us to make a decision about, we're so used to having spent like a maximum 9.5 on 2 keepers, or even 9, or sometimes even 8.5. Like, you might have to spend 10 million on 2 keepers, maybe. Yeah. Like they might just make it a little bit more difficult because you're getting more opportunities to get points.
Yeah. Dan Banks mentions about West Ham still looking for a new goalkeeper. It was the same up with Fabianski, so that's why I say I think it's looking for that stylistic thing. Teams that invite pressure, sort of sitting on themselves, they're quite useful. People tend to get in the box before they shoot. So that's number one. Yeah. Penalties nerfed. Fabulous. We've called it, I think on every bonus pod we've done, I think we've said is that a static price for penalties would make a big difference, because nobody likes, of course you like it if you own the guy, but it's one of the things that gets your goat more than anything. We can all remember, if you didn't own Chris Wood last season, there was a game where his only shot, you didn't have him at all, so you definitely had all his paint, but there was one game, I've forgotten which game it is now, but it was relatively early in the season, where his only shot of the game, the entire game, was a penalty.
Yeah, Ipswich.
It
was Ipswich at home.
So we were all so panicked about the fact of not owning. It was about 30% owned in that week. And you were like, God, Chris Wood's going to kill me. Chris Wood's going to kill me. And then he had no shots that gets a penalty.
Yeah.
And that was his only shot in the entire game. Very bonus.
Top bonus. Yeah, 35 on the BPS. Under the new system, if he'd have got that, he wouldn't have even been in the top 3.
Not in the bonus.
Because Aina, Murillo, and Milenkovic would all have been ahead of him.
So those mid to cheap price strikers with low shot volume, low creativity, but do take penalties, that they used to get a lot of bonus, and they might not.
Haaland. I mean, it didn't impact Haaland too much last year, but I think the sentiment behind it, because he is a very quiet player in terms of touches. Like, we know that he averages like 20 touches a game. So when he steps up and does that, in the past he could have picked up, and in the future if he did that under the old things, he could have picked up all the bonus, whereas he's very unlikely to now.
It's always been quite unlikely. Like, since he's joined, we've talked about it ad nauseum, that one goal is not enough for Haaland to get top bonus, because it normally means he's missed a few chances too, so he then has some taken away. But I don't think it's definitely not a positive for Haaland, but I don't think it's a huge one, because he always, like, it's a man who deals on braces and hat tricks. That's
unless he gets 2 pens, and then he still might not get it.
And then well, there was one incident of João Pedro getting 2 pens towards the end of last season. He still would have got it.
Yes, yeah,
because it's still just a big old number.
I did see that one.
But João Pedro is definitely one of those kind of guys. Jimenez is one of those type of guys. Chris Wood is definitely one of those type of guys where they just didn't have the volume. We might see that if people are looking at maybe a promoted striker that's on pens. I don't know enough about the promoted guys to know who's on the pens as it stands, but those type of ones, if they were, so we're talking about keepers that work around those sort of like middle-ish, mid-table teams that sort of sitting on themselves occasionally when they need to, but are relatively defensively sound. This is good for that keeper. Strikers that are on pens but don't have the volume, this is bad for them. Yeah, midfielders, it's just not that big a deal because it's 6 points.